Hi guys, it's Blackie. Okay, I humbly apologize if you find this video in any way disturbing, upsetting, or find that it is out of character for me. I do humbly apologize. But I need to say so. And so if it's one of those you'd just like not to hear this type of stuff, I suggest you skip ahead. And this won't take me long. But for those that do want to hear it, it is very simple. There's this individual, and I'm not going to call no names. I'm easy-go-lucky as everybody else. I believe in live and let live. But I became aware about 2 years ago now that this individual was talking to me online through social media and etc. and was taking a lot of the stuff from my videos. And then he has an online business where he sells bushcrafty things. So I would say, let's put together a fire kit. And he'd make up copies of my fire kit and say, Blackie Thomas's fire kit. And sell them through his thing, you know. And hey, you know, it didn't bother me. I'm putting this information out there. Live and let live. Go right ahead. It ain't costing me nothing. I'm putting it out here. And if they want to use my name to show something, it's just more publicity for me. And then this individual, we shall say, got a little pushy. And started contacting me and asking me to help them come up with these ideas and how to create these things. And I was helpful. I did. You know me, I'm trying to be helpful to everybody. But everybody has a line. And this individual started getting a little pushy. And I tried to nicely tell them, hey, you know, come on guys. No, they just want to be pushy. And the thing that they wanted was, Blackie, I know how you think and everything, and I'm sure you can come up with the ultimate kit to go into one of those little bitty tins. The ultimate kit for one of these little bitty tins. I'm sure. You need to tell me. I need to sell this. You need to tell me. And he got pushy. And this went on, and I kept trying to be nice. I tried to avoid. To the part I had to block them. Just straight up. And you know what they did? They created fake accounts to come back and then suddenly try to ask the same, well, what would you put into like a kit like that, trying to do it that way? And I'd figure out who they were. And this has been going on for 2 years. Okay? Well, Sparky, you want to know the Blackie Thomas Ultimate Tin Kit. Even though I have done a video talking about these tins, not this, but a tin like this, small tins, and said I think that they are perfectly fine and great for having little specialized things to put into haversack pockets, like a little fishing kit, whatever, medicine spice, whatever. It's great little containers for that. But as far as that live all, be all you need is 3 feet, a little bit of wire, a little X-Acto knife blade, 2 aspirins, and a whatever, and that's supposed to be, you can survive in any conditions. It's not something that I believe in. We will put it that way. And so, you want to know what Blackie's Ultimate Survival Kit. Okay, Sparky, here it is. You take your little bitty empty tin. First thing you get is a nice, crisp $100 bill. And you fold it up and you put it in that tin. Second thing you do is you get you a little bitty Fresnel lens like that. And you put it in that tin. Next thing you do is you get you a couple of pieces on Right in the Rain paper and a little bitty stub of a pencil. And you put it in there. Next, you get you a button compass. And you put in there. Next, you get you a couple of the tinder tabs from somewhere and put in there. And then finally, you go get you a brand new Bic lighter. And you take some sewing thread and a needle. and you wrap it up and you put it in against that. And then you take a fish hook and one piece of fishing lead and about 10 feet of line, and you put it up there and you wrap it with a couple of loops of duct tape, and then you wrap it with you some good jute, and you put your lanyard on it, and you put that into your ultimate little bitty kit. There's your ultimate kit. Here's what it is. A brand new lighter. You can build a fire. A compass keeps you from walking in a circle, so you can walk yourself out of the situation. Stub pencil never dries up and it works no matter what. Okay? Little fire tabs, you can use them. The fish hook and stuff, you can get you a meal. The sewing thread, you can repair your gear. The $100 bill, when you come out of the woods, wherever you may be, you can bribe somebody to either call the law to get you help, take you to some place you can get out of there, or buy a meal. There's your ultimate survival kit. I hope you sell hundreds of thousands of them. Have a nice day with it. That's Blackie's ultimate survival kit. There you go, the official Blackie Thomas ultimate survival kit. Hope you enjoyed that. Now that I've got that off my chest, let us go to the second and more topic. I have been asked to answer this question, and the question is, Blackie, I would like a list of what you consider the ultimate ultralight gear to carry. Different person, different people, lots of other people. Okay, and this is a no BS video, guys. So let's be just straight up and no BS. What you're really saying is, Blackie, I'm not in great shape, and I'm carrying this stuff, it digs into me, etc. How can I go lighter and be less encumbered? Okay, here's a no BS video for you. First, whatever your car payment is for your car, I want you to save up money until you have 6 months worth of your car payments in an account some way. Once you get that, here's how you proceed. I'm going to answer this same question 3 ways. Answer number 1, you've saved up this money. You then take that money and you go look for ultralight, state-of-the-art camping gear. A little bit like Dyneema haversack, a little bitty like Dyneema pack, those super ultralight sleeping bag sets, hammock, underquilt, tarp, etc. It is not an exaggeration to say that you can get a pack, a titanium cup, a water bottle, a plastic or titanium eating utensil, a ultralight of some voodoo thing like Cuban fiber or whatever, hammocks, tarps, sleeping bag, all the above, and be somewhere in the 6 to 8 pound range of all that gear. Throw in some ramen on the top of it and carry water purification tabs because they're the lightest. And you have 3 days worth of camping gear right there for around 10 pounds or less. Now, the cost of that, because the lighter it is, the less durable it is, and the more it costs. That's what that 6 months worth of money is for. Because, trust me, it's going to be a price tag. Some of them things, 2 of them or 1 of them equals a car payment for the month. You know, some of them big underquilt sets and those ultralight sleeping bags will be more than a car payment for a month. So you need at least 6 months of this cash sitting back. So you can do it and get the sheer weight down to that level. But you're going to be carrying absolutely minimum. There is no extra, and it has very short lifespan before it's going to wear out on you. So, answer number 1 to that question, go look at those. I don't carry those type things. I'm not versed in those things in the current day. I know Dave Canterbury's done a video in the past, say, year where he's brought out and showed a lot of ultralight stuff. Go look at that. He knows more than me on that because he's experienced it more recently. A lot of my ultralight is from years ago. Okay? That's answer number one. Answer number two. You need to change the way you go to the woods, where you go out. Save that money, and instead of buying the ultralightest whatever, buy a good rucksack, a good haversack that's going to be durable and it's probably going to last the rest of your life. A good field knife, a good solid, rock solid gear. And then change the way you carry it. If I just have to hike, Blackie, I want to go hiking, get you one of those rolling strollers with the big wheels on it that's meant for, carry babies and run, and convert it into a cargo carrier. Mount your pack to it and everything, where you can pull it behind you as you walk. It's holding the weight, you're just rolling it. See? Or get you a bicycle and put it on Panners and use the bicycle. Better yet, get you an electric bicycle. Get a kayak. Learn, instead of going hiking, go kayaking. And carry the gear in it. Have conveyance. You're getting to where you can't carry it as easy. It's becoming heavy, and we're going to talk about that in the end of this video. And as a fun little aside, I'm going to bring up a couple of quotes, and I want you to see if you can figure out where that quote came from. I want you to put down there in the comments who said this quote. Okay? And carrying the gear, as we get older, it just gets where it's not as much fun. We're going to talk about all that in just a minute. But the bottom line is, go from hiking to biking, or to canoeing, or kayaking, or four-wheelering, or dirt bike riding, or get you a nice big old 4x4, make you a redneck camper. You don't have to stop going, but you may need to change how you get there. And so the weight ain't that big a deal. Okay, we're going to, I said I'll finish that up in just a second. So, as far as carrying the gear, something about me, you can carry the gear. It's going to be, it is what it is. You can spend a lot of money and get really light stuff. It's not going to be that durable, but it'll be really, really light. You can travel light, freeze at night, and just simply do without a lot of stuff. It isn't that much fun. On the other hand, you can simply get good gear and just change the way you transport it. I went, when I came off of doing my ultralight hiking, where I was going up mountains and stuff, I was in my youth, and I was climbing steep mountains with heavy packs and stuff. And at some point I wised up, and I discovered canoeing and riding a motorcycle. And I started spending more time letting it carry the weight and still being able to get out and enjoy it. So that's one of them. Third way I'm going to answer this question for you is to shorten your hikes. Stop going on such long hikes. If it seems to be way too much weight, turn it from a 5-day to a 2-day. Carry less weight, less gear, and do it in sections rather than trying to do big things where you got to carry so much weight. But the bottom line is, all you need, part of this request was, what's the absolute minimum you need, Blackie? I need nothing. I'm not trying to brag. I'm not saying I am some He-Man or nothing like that. No. I have 50 years experience. I grew up poor, dirt poor. I have been hungry. I have been wet. I have been cold. I have been bug-eat. I have been all the above. And it doesn't scare me. And so if it was a ultimate challenge of who could carry the least, I will walk out there with my pocket knife. I'll walk out there with my Swiss Army pocket knife and my car keys, because it's got a fire starter on it and a couple other things. With this and that, I'll pass the 24 hours in the woods. I'll kick up a pile of leaves to sit down on. I'll gather up firewood. I'll either break it, bust it, or use a little saw if I need to make some stuff to lean up here and make me a little lawn, and it might be going to be wet. I'm going to be wet. I'm going to be uncomfortable, but I'm going to be okay. You know. So my wife's uncle did he ran the Appalachian Trail. He did it in a little over 3 months. And his pack only weighed 5 pounds. And everybody goes, oh, but Blackie, tell me about that. What did he carry on it? He carried an ultralight nylon pack with a bottle of water, a single bottle of water, 1 energy bar, about a 6 by 8 inch piece cut out of a topo map, button compass, and that was it. And what he did was his wife dropped him off, and he went and she leapfrogged ahead of him, and she carried all the stuff in the camper, and she set up camp. And so he leapfrogged to her, spend the night, rest, get up and take off the next morning. She'd break camp and leapfrog ahead of him. And so then whenever it got to be that 100-mile section, he had a series of friends that had hiked in ahead of him and set up a camp for him, so that when they were there too, so when he got there, he hot bunked. They stood up all night and he slept in the hammock, or slept on the ground pad. And then when he got up and left, and they packed up their gear, you know, they stay out there 2 days, and they just let him have it, and they slept by the fire that night. And so with all that support, he was able to run the Appalachian Trail in such a short amount of time. But he's literally running it. See, he's not enjoying, he's just running. So you can't say, oh, but how light was his pack? 5 pounds. But he was wearing running shorts and running shoes and a t-shirt. You know, that was it. Because he was running the trail. And it was not really practical in what we're talking about. See? So I hope that, you know, answers some of that, of what you do. Now, finally, let's talk about this last part. Okay, this last part. I was asked, Blackie, in your 50 years of camping and doing stuff, share a little bit of wisdom about what it means being a silver wolf getting older and still camping and stuff like that, especially since I've had 5 heart attacks and I've now had a stroke and I'm not in greatest of health. So what have you found? And so here's what I have found, and the wisdom I'd pass on to you. When you start out and you're, say, in your 20s, teens, 20 and everything, it's wonder. You wonder what's on the other side of that hill. You wonder how the fishing is over there. You wonder where this river goes. You wonder where this trail goes. You wonder what that sound was. You don't seem to notice or care that this pack is so heavy it's digging into your shoulders. You don't care that that mountain is so steep, because the wonder of I want to get to the top. I want to see the excitement, the wonder, the almost childlike joy of going. You can't wait to go back, and to next weekend we go back again. The wonder of it, the childlike mindset when you're 18s and your childhood and your 20s, and say most of your 20s. But then some point, and it varies for everybody, but at some point it's going to change, and it goes from wonder to work. And I don't mean what you do for a living. I mean, you're so wrapped up with having kids, having a job, having a career, family obligations, college, building this, working on that, getting a better car, getting this finance, get the mortgage payment work, you and your wife working with their family. It's work, you know, it really is. And then when you have to work to get the free time, to have the vacation time, when you can go hunting, fishing, camping, the work of getting that time lined up, the getting the wife or your husband to agree to the time so they'll keep the kids that weekend so you can go off and play, the work of then, okay, it seems to be, and then you got to dig through all your gear. Where'd my gear go? That your son was playing with your canteen, where, you know, and you got to dig trying to find all your gear, and it's just, you're excited to go, but it's work. You know, you're trying to force it all together. And then you finally get to go, you know, and that hill that you ran up in your 20s, it kicks your butt in your 40s trying to go up that hill. And yeah, you're excited, you're out here and you're doing whatever it is, but at the same time you kind of wonder, you know, dang it, when I get home, work, you know you're gone for 3 days, you know work's going to just pile it on you when you get back. Even though you had the vacation time, you know your boss is going to punish you for being gone. You know your wife loves you and everything, but she's still going to dig at dagger just a little bit because she had to stay home with the kids all weekend or something else. And it's those consequences of it. It's just so much work to be able to still get out here and go. Should be fun. And the wonder of it turns into more work. And if you still make it through that, and you get to being in your 60s, you get to be a silver wolf. You're a silver wolf. It's still work, but now it's willpower. Your body don't work like it used to. Where you used to be able to go and climb those mountains on Saturday and Sunday, come running in at 11:30 at night, totally, utterly exhausted on Sunday night, take a shower, go to bed, get up 4 hours later and go back to work and work a full 8-hour day, then come home, unpack, and y'all are already planning. Heck, at lunch, you're planning on your next adventure. Now, it takes you 3 days to recover. Your joints hurt. Everything hurts. And it's the same work to get everything to line up, to get everything into position, and it takes willpower to keep going. And so when you look at that silver wolf who's in their 60s, their 70s, their 80s, we had silver wolf students that were in their 90s coming to class. I am so inspired by them, and to every one of you silver wolves that came to our event and talked to me, you are my hero. You really are. Many of you are 25 years older than me, and you have really inspired me to find the willpower to keep going. But I want you to understand that in youth, it's the wonder of it all. And in between, it's work. When you get to this, the kid's gone, you're a widower now, or you're all alone, or it's just the two of y'all and the house is empty, and you got the time now, but the hips don't work, and arthritis is real bad, and you get dizzy if you stand up, and you're on blood thinners, and you've had a heart attack, and the willpower to get up and go. That's the thing. It's not about work anymore. It's about willpower. And the tremendous amount of willpower that I have seen in people who were silver wolves, for them to just get out of the truck and walk 50 yards and set up a camp. The determination on their face when everything just wasn't working anymore. Quote I told you about: "Savor the fruit of youth, my young friends. It has a sweet taste when it's fresh from the vine. But don't live too long. The taste turns bitter after a time." Put in the comments who said that. in a nutshell, whenever the old silver wolf's out there, when you do get to the campsite, and it's a public type thing, and you're trying to camp out, and you park the car next, and your car camping just outside of it, etc. And those young guys, the youngins, anybody under 40 is a youngin to you, are over on that end of the camp over yonder, and they're hooting and hollering and partying, and they're playing cards around the lantern, and they're just having a great time, and it's 10:30 at night, and damn it, if they wouldn't just shut up, because you want to go to sleep. I want you to remember something. That used to be you. Remember what it was like when the world was wonder. Remember what it was like when you ran up those mountains, when you couldn't wait to see what was on the other side of that river, or the other side of that lake, or the top of that mountain. You just couldn't wait. So as you lay there trying to go to sleep, remember some of yours. Or even better yet, how about getting up and going over and saying, hey, sitting around a fire with them, listen to their stories, tell some of yours. You might find some kindred spirits. And for you young people out there listening, when you see that old silver wolf that's trying to go up that trail, and he's slowing up everybody else because he can't go up that steps very fast, or he's using his 2 sticks and he's just barely shuffling along going across that stream, and he's holding up the other hikers that are trying to get through. Take a moment and kind of think about the willpower it takes for him to do that, or her to do that. And I've seen a lot of she-wolves at gatherings as well. So it takes a lot of willpower to stay in it. It's all about how you apply yourself, your mental attitude, and how you focus on what you're going to do. The pack's too heavy, find a way. Pay the money and get lighter, or change the way you carry. Move it to something else. Maybe get a bigger weight belt and put the weights totally on your hips and not on your shoulders. Get a bicycle, get a cart to pull or push. Get a motorcycle, get an RV, canoe, kayak. Find a way. Find the willpower and the desire. Sorry for the sheep. But find the willpower and the desire to get there. It ain't got to be easy. But it's something that if you want to do it, you want to enjoy it, get out there and do it. And the last little thing in this rant I would like to share, in the last quote. It's my favorite quote from Farpoint. And I got this from several people have asked me, saying that they're silver wolves now, and they'd love to get out here, but they've never been outdoors. They've always had the desire, but they just never had the time, and their camping and whatever's been very limited. And can I get out there? Can I do this? The quote that I'll leave you with, see if you can figure out, put in the comments who said this. It's not safe out here. But if you can't get a bloody nose once in a while, you might as well stay home. There are wonders out here to satiate desires, both subtle and gross. But it's not for the timid.